Yes, we're back. We're unrestricted views. Big JP, only one running tonight, no return on us. Well, we've got a lovely guest on. Happy to see your smiling face again, mate. Sir Barry. Happy to see you, mate. Loving the tap you're wearing and all. Nice to see you've dressed for the occasion, big man. How have you been, man? I feel as if I've not seen you for ages.
It's great to be here. Great to be back on the show, JP. Always good to see you, mate. Things have been good. Plodding along, doing what we do. Most people, family, work, and of course, Celtic. I don't know if it would be in that order, but I don't know if my wife watches this. So exactly, mate. So I've just been cautious here, but
you need to say exactly. You need to choose your words carefully with that one, mate. No, it's happy to see you again, mate. Obviously, our usual hostess for the mostess. He's decided to patch us for a Friday night club. Don't know what kind of club it is, by the way, but he's decided to take up something new on a Friday. But no, I'm only kidding. Ryan's a serial Celtic man like ourselves, mate, and he's decided to have a nice week here, and he's been in Madrid enjoying himself, having a ball. Well, I know he's had a ball. I feel as if I've been with him. He sent me that many videos and photos and everything, try to rub it in. But no, this is why we're here tonight, mate, to talk about obviously the aftermath of Wednesday and you know what the outcome of that was. Obviously, it wasn't the result we all wanted, but realistically, I mean, if you put your expectations out before the game, if you're a good football man and you know your stuff, then you're certainly no going like that. You're disappointed that you've lost 5-1, but you're certainly not thinking we were taking anything for that game, really. Because if that was a game that wasn't a damp squad, was what it was eventually for us, and it was a game we needed to win, I still don't think we would have been able to, do it. So, I think overall the quality of them did tell, even though they were kind of gifted with at least one of the penalties, in my opinion. And when you gift a team like that a 2-goal with a start, mate, you're always climbing a mountain, in my opinion. What about yourself, mate?
Well, shout out to Ryan, who's obviously can't make it on tonight, but the guy puts the hours in. You know, he's always here. He always shows up and always talks on this show with passion for his club. So, and he even put some content on social media with his trip to Madrid. So that was interesting to see that as well. But listen, he's passing the role on to you. He's passing the baton. Anytime he can.
There's a new sheriff in town.
He'll be watching this now, cussing at his phone. The game itself. I mean, where do you start? Look, the second one was never a penalty for me, no chance, and we missed a penalty at 2-0. And Ange Postecoglou in his post-match comments has referred to that and said, look, if that goes in, it's 2-1. We probably get into the break at 2-1. And it builds confidence, it builds belief. There's a different team talk. So that game wasn't an absolute demolition as the result makes it look. If somebody never watched that and saw 5-1, they'd make an assumption Real Madrid walked all over the top of us and it was straightforward. And it wasn't like that, because when was the last time you saw a team who weren't expected to do well in the Bernabeu and create the amount of chances that we did? We created some really good chances and we created plenty of them as well. So the big talking point before the Champions League even started was this style of football that Ange Postecoglou has brought to Celtic, can it show up at Champions League? In my opinion, it is. Our football has worked in the Champions League. It hasn't got us the results, but you can definitely see that it's a way of playing that can get results. And nobody really wants to hear it. It's been the undertone for Ange Postecoglou's pressers, but this is going to take time, JP.
Yeah.
It's going to take a wee bit of time, mate, because we've been 5 years, we've not competed. Even in the last 5 years, the Champions League, the level and the kind of gap between the top teams and the so-called lesser teams has grew. You see a lot of big score lines in the Champions League now, especially with these clubs at their own park. So I think if we see that game, that's probably a 5-2 game or a 6-3 game, really. That's probably what the scoreline should have been. But Madrid took most of their chances and we only took one of those. So that's my kind of thoughts on it anyway.
Yeah. It's interesting, obviously, you were saying there in terms of, the neutral. Looking at that game there, and you see the scoreline, and right away you're hiding behind the couch, you're like, oh no, Real Madrid have destroyed them. But you've said yourself, we all seen the game, and, we knew we were well in the game. What really amazes me, Buzz, is the fact that we were 2-0 down. Sorry, it went to 5-0, and we were still trying to press him. We were still trying to force the issue. We were still trying to get the ball down and play. So even the guys that made mistakes, like individually, they still wanted the ball. Nobody went hiding. Nobody disappeared out of the game. Nobody, and I've seen every one of the games, they've all stuck to the letter of what he's asked them to do. That's the thing as well. Now, what's really been frustrating for us all, and I've got to say frustrating because I can't really say disappointing, right? Because, and not for me, I can't, because you said it yourself, we've been out of the thing for 5 years, out of the tournament for 5 years. We've come back in, we've got 3 guys on my books, we're the only guys with Champions League football experience behind them. Joe Hart, Callum McGregor, and James Forrest.
Yeah.
The only 2 of them probably played some game time, really. Apart from Forrest, he came up. Forrest, I think he got a cameo appearance away in Leipzig, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Out with that, he didn't really. You can correct me, by the way, you can stop me if I'm wrong, but I can't.
No, he never came on at all.
I don't think he got on. So Joe Hart played all the games. And that's the thing as well. He made a mistake at Leipzig that cost us that night. And he came out and he fronted straight away, and he interviewed it straight away after the game on Wednesday. But we came back to the initial scoreline. Juranovic scores that penalty. You said yourself, it's 2-1. Goals change momentum, they change games, they change the flow of the game in moments. And in my opinion, I think that, especially the Matt O'Reilly penalty, mate, I think that if you're getting that as a penalty, mate, then you begin penalties every fucking 20 seconds, every 2 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever. Because if that's a penalty, mate, then in my opinion, the game's finished. I don't know what she's expecting him to do with his arm. I don't even know why VAR's intervening. How can they not use discretionary and say, look, the ball was going to be for goal. It wasn't going towards the goal. It wasn't affecting anything. It hit his elbow. It didn't hit him here on the hand or up here. It hit him there. So why then why we even going to VAR? Why was that getting involved? Just the whole thing running about that was just madness in my opinion. And then obviously the other wee decisions, in the game and all that stopped the flow in my opinion. The yellow card, it's not even that annoying. It's a yellow card after he gets a penalty against him. It's not deliberate, first and foremost. And you look at the other one as well that stops the flow. We were only, I think we the ball, we were counting them. And then all of a sudden, they get the ball back off a defensive header with a clearance. And then she books Kyogo for a foul on a guy that's about 6'3". And he falls like a big sack of spuds, man. What the hell is going on here? It just, the whole thing, see me moments like that as well. It kills you. But so does so does no being clinical and no scoring the goals and the chances that we've created.
Yep. We're up against the Champions League holders in their own pitch, and they wanted to win that game to make sure they finished first. So it's not as though the game was meaningless for them. I mean, the actual reality is it was meaningless for us, but we obviously didn't approach it that way. It wasn't the mentality, but just in terms of the situation, a win wasn't going to do anything for us in the group. But for Real Madrid, it was going to secure the first spot for them. So they were psyched. They were highly motivated. That was them really there to do a job on us. And they got a wee bit lucky because they got those 2 penalties in quick succession. 2 penalties. I mean, if somebody scores a worldie, okay, you can accept that. But 2 penalties. And the second one for me, just as you've covered yourself there, it's never a pen. Why VAR gets involved in that is beyond me. You're right. The ball, it was going towards a throw-in. It wasn't even going out for a corner. That ball was going out for a throw-in.
That's a lot. I think it was hitting the ceiling again.
You can tell, right? We've all played the game. You can tell the way Matt O'Reilly's turning, he's actually trying to block a shot kind of on his back.
Yeah.
You know, the way a lot of people do when they're standing in a wall for a free kick, they sort of turn their back to it.
Yeah.
Matt O'Reilly's anticipating the shot's going on target, so he's turning for it to hit his back. And the guy hits his shot way off target and it ends up hitting his arm. It's his elbow. Crazy. And it's all if buts and maybes. You don't know how the game changes, but for sure, you don't need to go to one of the biggest clubs in the world, the Champions League holders, in their own backyard and concede 2 penalties like that. Having said that, JP, I think the point you've made there about the players kept playing Ange Postecoglou's way the entire match.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be something said for that. At 5-0 down, you're still carrying out your manager's instructions. You still believe in the ideas that he set out for day one.
Yep.
And that's where I come back to. This, for me, feels like it's just going to take a bit of time. Hopefully not too much. Because if you're playing that way, let's say, right, I know this is only hypothetical, right? But for the people that are watching as well, consider for a minute that Celtic take 50% of their chances created in these 6 games. And I heard somebody say something along the lines of 76 chances we created through those 6 games.
Aye.
Something to the effect of that.
Yeah.
You take 50%, and even if you take a quarter of those chances, how does that change those games? It changes them significantly, mate.
Absolutely.
So you think if we get into the competition next year and we're a bit more clinical than what we have been this year, we're another year down the line, players have been together a bit longer, who knows what additions are made to that, all those things together, I'm confident that, as Ange Postecoglou said, we would make a better mark in a year's time. All those things took into account. But I'm not one to sit here and make excuses. I'd never want it to come across like that. I'm certainly not doing that. I'm just sort of pointing out that this team, under this manager, are progressive. And it's going to continuously get better. But if your players are 5-0 down to the champions of Europe and they're still pressing and running about the pitch and creating opportunities, that's because they believe in what the manager's asked them to do. So if you can still play that way under those circumstances, it's just a matter of time, JP, before, as they say, things click. And the people that are having a go, I don't know if you saw the post-match analysis on BT. Steve McManaman was there, and quite. Sorry, mate.
No, I was just sorry to interrupt you. I was just laughing because you mentioned Steve McManaman there. I think he sort of forgot for a minute where he was, and I think he let the cat out of the bag a wee bit about where he's kind of legencies like there on the night. I think just about the way he was talking, because I think he's got a wee soft spot for the tick.
Aye, but he made a couple of comments, and I don't know. I mean, I think what he was trying to say was that this Celtic team are maybe a bit naive, and I've heard other so-called analysts saying the same thing. But I don't think they're looking at the big picture. I think Ange Postecoglou is, and he's building something, something that he believes in, something that players believe in. So you don't just scrap that for a game and say, let's get by, let's survive this year. If you're building something, you've got to go through the difficult times. And then when all the rewards start coming, other people, look at that and say whatever they say. But the manager and the players and the fans that are part of this are going to know, well, the success that we're experiencing now, we've had to earn because we've had to come through some tough times and still stick to our principles.
Hi, absolutely. I know there's been mega people having a go. Like, there was loads of disappointment. You could see that all over social media. I think it comes down to me. Nobody likes getting beat 5-1, mate. Do you know what I mean? And as much as you, that's what happened. You can't get away from the fact that and as you said, to the neutral and to guys that maybe on the Celtic fans or other people, it looks like Celtic got hammered, and it didn't feel like that to me watching the game. It just that. I know that sounds mental. It was the same as remember the Leverkusen game last season in the Europa at Celtic Park where they beat us 4-0. That didn't feel as if we just get beat 4-0 there. No. I know that might sound mental. People might be sitting watching us saying, you're talking out your backside, blah, blah, blah. But I'm giving you my opinion and my view of it. And in my opinion, again, all you've got to do is go back and watch that game if you can. Their goalie, can't mind his name now. Is it Hadaki? Hadaki? No. I'm talking about Leverkusen. Sorry, mate.
All right.
Hadaki, the big boy Hadaki. Is that his name? He get man in the match, that mate. Pay UEFA. So their goalies get man in the match, but yet they've won 4-0. It's mental. But I know what you're saying in terms of the players, etc. Like, obviously, I touched on it. The players know detracting away from what he's asking them to do. And I do think there's certain moments, Buzz, they've showed. I think what McManaman and that were maybe trying to say was that, there's certain moments that maybe a bit of naivety in terms of some of their passages of play, in terms of, maybe see the Champions League. Obviously, I've never played at that level. None of us have, right? We've not played at that level, so that was a lot of their first times and first occasions experiencing that, and against guys that are the cream of the crop, is what I would say. So that what we don't see is probably what isn't really happening either, because I would imagine. I don't mean to be disrespectful, right? I'm sitting here in the house talking about football. These guys are out there getting paid doing it, and even the boys that maybe play in Scotland in the Premier League. But what I'm trying to say is, see guys like Modric and Kroos and like Tchouaméni and Benzema and Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr., boys like your Forsbergs and Kunkus, Silvas, Szoboszlai. I could go on and on and on. The big boy, the boy at Shakhtar, Modric, genuine. These guys are genuine quality, mate. Genuine. And that's what you're getting up against. Domestically, we're not being tested that way properly. Because I don't mean to be rotten when I say this. Against St Johnstone, Hatate will try a ball in the corner, but he'll get it back in a minute. Whereas see in there, try a ball in the corner, see if it doesn't go. He doesn't get it back for 20 minutes. Yeah. That's just the way it works because of, the Champions League, etc. When you play football at that level and you try and play with the intensity that we're trying to play with, you've got to be spot on every time you do it. That's the thing as well, Buzz. We've got to have our players playing at 8, 9 and 10s in the Champions League to be in with any shout of a great result. Because you're going in against guys who are world-class stars, guys who have played on the world-class stage. And guys who have played there regularly for the last 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years. I mean, guys like Modric, many years that now he's been in the Champions League. I heard the commentator saying the other night, I seen a video and it was a commentator coming away with Carvajal's only won 5 Champions League medals. Only 5. You know what I mean? He's only won 5.
Just the 5.
That's experience. But see, comes along with that, Barry, is a humongous, vast amount of experience.
Yep.
And seeing certain moments, like when it comes to finishing, you look at Valverde's goal. That's a quality finish. Not only is he a quality player, but he's also got a vast amount of experience in the kind of moments when he knows when to draw that, what way to draw it, how to do it, to keep it away for the goalie. And by the way, they don't come more experienced than a guy like Joe Hart. He's been in the game a long time. He's 35 now. We've got a wee comment here for Facebook for Celtic Supporters Club, Buzz. A guy, obviously, nice to see you back on, mate.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, look,
we get the pom-poms out shortly and singing.
I know, I'm listening, I'm blushing.
We've got Sister Sledge just ready to go to now. We are family.
No, I've paid them to say that, mate.
Aye, so I was going to say, there's another wee comment there.
I mean, that's a fair point. Yeah, that was kind of my opening comments. Like, you've created that amount of chances against a team that could go on and win the competition.
Yes.
They could go on and win it. They certainly have the squad. You know, they have the players, they have the personnel, they've got the manager. Let's not forget, one of the best managers probably in history managing their team at the moment. And the thing about experience, JP, is I think it ties into that.
Again, mate. I think he's equalled Alex Ferguson's win record now.
That's right. Yeah,
wow.
I heard that during the game. Amazing. Aye, so
the Everton fan says he was rotten.
Aye, he done a good job with them as well, to be fair. If you get that amount of experience, JP, what I think it breeds is confidence. That's what it breeds. These guys are playing these games full of confidence. That means even if they're under the cosh, even if, like what did happen at Celtic Park, a team makes a great start against them and it's all guns blazing and the crowd are behind us, and that doesn't faze a team like that because they've been there, done it, wore the t-shirt, and they're confident that it'll wear off or their quality will come through or one of their players will have a moment. That's what they're playing with. They're playing with that kind of swagger and that kind of confidence. Whereas you look at our team in these 6 games, was only Joe Hart, Callum McGregor, and James Forrest, you said that have got
any... That's the only 3 that have played Champions League football prior.
And Callum McGregor, by the way, we were missing. He only played a portion of the games. So that amount of players making their debut in a competition that they've probably all dreamt of playing in their whole careers. You could see what Jota's goal meant to him against Madrid.
Yeah.
You almost could see somebody, it was like looking at a wee 6 or 7-year-old celebrating. You could tell he's dreamt of that moment, you know, probably the best part of his career. Best part of his youth.
Yeah.
So, if you were making a player, you know, you'd be looking at speed, finishing, ball control, etc., etc., etc. But one of the things that would be at the top of that would be experience. Because of the confidence and the self-belief it gives you. And I think that's what Ange Postecoglou was continuing to refer to, is with experience comes belief. You look at, let's go back to the very first game against Madrid at Celtic Park. Leo Abada, probably one of the best finishers at our club. That guy knows how to put the ball in the back of the net. He's got a good nose for being in the right place at the right time, and normally he puts it in the back of the net.
Yeah.
He had a great chance in that game and he missed it. And that's the kind of thing I think that followed us through the other 5 games then after that. It's just that bit of experience, that bit of know-how, that bit of belief to turn something like that into a goal. And as you said, goals change games. We missed a lot of chances in every game. And you just hope that the more games that they play, hopefully the squad stays together. It's absolutely vital that our manager is part of our next campaign, and that we can turn those things, those opportunities into goals. And there's two sides to football, JP. You and I played at the back. When we were at ourselves and we were able, we played at the back. So we know that defending is part of football as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that Ange Postecoglou neglects that side of the game. I think he's just, his mindset is the best way to defend is to attack, which is great. But again, there was times where people weren't in the right position.
Mm-hmm.
They were maybe a bit too much bravado, getting forward and forgetting that these teams, as you rightly said, they win the ball in one pass, they can be through, and it's a goal. Yep. And you've maybe had 15 minutes of battering them, try to score, and they get one moment and they scored. Shakhtar done it to us at Celtic Park. Madrid went through. So all those things together. But if we've got that amount of players making their debuts in the Champions League, common sense would tell you that they're only going to get better the next time they get into it.
Well, that's it, Battery. As you say, in terms of what you just said there, I know about the chance that Madrid had at Celtic Park. In my opinion, it was naive for us because we pushed that many forward. Juranovic has got to sprint back. Now, in my opinion, this is unforgivable. Now, you know what I was like. You mentioned there, we played together. I probably done your nothing. Fucking 90% of the time we were on that part, I was loud, I was vocal, I wouldn't ask him to do something I couldn't do. But one thing I did do was I gave 110% every fucking time I took to the field. And if I knew, the good thing me and you were good at, we could spot danger and we knew how to cover it between each other because we played beside each other for so long. So, in my opinion, why was Juranovic allowed to wander so far forward that he had to fucking bust his arse to get back? When he's back, he's knackered because he's ran that far against a guy who's a speed demon. Mm-hmm. He's back in. So he's back to goal. Mudryk is in front of him. You know the guy's good on his right peg. He's set, and he's just let some step across him. That is absolutely unforgivable, in my opinion. I would have been swinging punches at him. You know what I'm like? Honestly, I would have. I swear to God, I would have been getting off my heat with that guy because of that. I could not believe the gap he left between him and Carter Vickers and Jens. Greg Taylor's not even that far forward in that passage of play. Because again, when you're on the park, Barry, you've got to manage that yourself. You've got to read the game and manage that. And when you stumble forward, you know you're going to counter. All you've got is one out ball. Shakhtar. That was their out ball. Mudryk is their out ball. He was their best player. Mudryk. And you know that ball's getting zipped to him straight away as soon as we all step out and leave a gap. It happened again after it. And Juranovic is stoning. He was stoning nearly up at the 18-yard box on the opposite side. And Carter Vickers actually has to come across for the centre and try and take the ball. And that's the one the boy misses the sitter. Yeah. Do you see that? That is unforgivable. See, in an analysis meeting, I would be getting right through him for that. That's schoolboy stuff, man, that you should never do. I was really angry that night because another game we let go by, we should have won.
That was a missed opportunity.
It was a missed opportunity, big time. I was really angry the night of the Leipzig game too at Celtic Park because, again, of passages of play, he switches off. See the 3 goals for the two against Leipzig and the one against Shakhtar, they're all down his side. Every one of them are all down Juranovic's side. Now, I'm not slagging Juranovic. I'm not saying he's a bad player for 1 minute when he's listening. I'm having a go at him for the individual errors. Because see a guy that's playing with Croatia internationally needs to be more switched on in certain moments. And I'm afraid they moments, if you're more switched on, in my opinion, the 3 goals are avoidable. We've got a couple of wee comments here for Facebook page again, mate. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Joe Hart was at fault for the first pen. Yeah, I think he should have been quicker off his line. Not just quicker off his line, I think he should have been observing better, and he should have saw that happening a couple of seconds before he actually reacted to it, and probably could have come out and dealt with it. Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. But that's the thing, isn't it? You're always going to get, especially at this level, individual mistakes. You're always going to be able to point out that. I felt like you were saying there about Juranovic. We were losing that game during the week. It might have been 4-0 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Juranovic playing like a right winger.
I know.
And listen, and this was, I remember looking at it and going, for goodness sake, if we lose the ball here, they've got 2v2. And that was Matt O'Reilly, who was playing defensive midfield, and he was up on the 18-yard line. I looked at that and I thought,
Vinny Junior's standing there waiting on the spinning.
Exactly.
He's waiting on that. He's waiting on that ball coming through the mid.
Aye. And see, these guys at this level with that kind of experience, they don't need their manager to shout at them to the side of the pitch and tell them where to be. That's a big thing as well. They know where to be. Vinicius Junior knows that fullback's away up there. I'll just hover about this left-hand side because if my team win the ball back, I'm away. And that's experience as well. So, that was a bit reckless. And I seen that in most of our games. We were a bit reckless in terms of the amount of bodies we pushed forward, and there wasn't one eye on what happens if we lose the ball. I think you need to have that, especially at that level. Okay, you're saying domestically, if Hatate tries a ball around the corner that doesn't come off, he'll win it back or his teammate will win it back, probably. But at that level, if you've got so many bodies forward and you lose the ball, you're in trouble straight away. So that, I think, needs to be looked at. That definitely needs to be looked at.
The turnover and the transition.
The turnover and the transitions. And I just think it's great when you've got the ball and you're going forward and you want to be a team that's creating chances. Great. But there's got to be a couple of players in the team that's got a nose for what happens if we lose the ball here. Now, Neil Lennon had a great career at Celtic. Wasn't always everybody's cup of tea as a player. But I'll tell you one thing he had a nose for danger.
Yes.
He knew. And you need players like that in your team.
Wanyama was the same, Barry.
Wanyama, I mean, he's probably the best example. Wanyama was...
Smelt it a mile away, coming.
Oh.
I've been shouting for the rooftops now for months. We need a midfield enforcer. We need somebody to break up counter-attacks. Somebody to just stone and tappy somebody.
Aye. And even Callum McGregor, as much as Callum McGregor has been exceptional in that number 6 position and looked good at Champions League level in that number 6 position as well, I still don't think he's got that natural instinct to be looking at his shoulder and worrying. See, you need players in your team, JP, that's worrying what happens even when you've got the ball. So you've got the ball, you're on the offence, you're creating chances, great. But you need at least a few players in your midfield that have got that instinct and they're worried what happens here if we lose the ball. Because what they're going to be doing is, if you've got a player on your team like JP, who's the first person he's shouting at? Away up on that right-hand side, he's shouting at Juranovic and he's saying, Woody, you're too high up the pitch. Get back 20 yards. Cool yourself.
Get back in because the way we play off the ball, we like to be compact. He's not compact if he's standing there. Because then he's leaving, then he's potentially leaving Abada double the work because Abada's then going to, if he can't get back, then Abada's going to have to fill in and play into a 7 position to try and stop a counter attack. But I know what you're saying in terms of Europe. I'll be with that domestically because teams here will not hurt you the way teams in Europe will. They've not got the manpower to do it. They can't play around about you. And even that mob across the water, Barry, they don't play like that. Because every game they play with 3 defensive midfielders. And God knows what sort of identity that, I don't even think they know what identity they've got.
No, they don't.
So they don't have, they don't know what they're doing from game to game. It's eeny, meeny, miny, more stuff for them. So Juranovic standing too high is a big problem for me, especially in there. What was also a big problem for me was Maeda in the Leipzig away game. He was leaving fucking Greg Taylor. I'm at 2 men there every time. The boy Seamus was Breton. And every time Seamus was Breton, Szoboszlai was just dropped in. As soon as he was dropped in, they were playing give and go. And Taylor's having to do double the work because my header's too high. And then he's already completed 2-3 sprints, so he's knackered. He can't chase the boy back down the line. It's, in my opinion, this is a true saying. Coaches have said this to me before. It's so. The hardest thing to do in football is to play simple.
Mm-hmm.
The hardest thing to do is to play simple and see that positioning. And in my opinion, it's not difficult. You've got to be able to manage that on the pitch yourself. You've got to be able to spot when your team haven't got the ball. Where am I on the park? Right, I'm too high. Oh no. Once this team counter, I'm knackered. Because if they play, that's different if you play with 2 controls. Because you've always got that man extra to come out. If you're not playing with that, which a lot of the times we don't, we only play with that single pivot, which is normally Callum. But now it's been Matt O'Reilly because Callum's not there. You can't legislate for somebody your full-back stepping too high. If he steps too high, how then? What happens when Carter Vickers gets the ball and then he's not inverted enough to receive a pass? Do you know what I mean? So it kind of spoils that. It breaks that sort of momentum away from that side of the pitch. I get what you're saying. We've got more comments here on the Facebook, mate. I'm just going to put one up in here. Yep. And it's for the main man himself.
Oh, there he is.
There he's there.
Right, he's just wanting to put his expertise in. That's him telling.
That's just how he's not here. He's wanting to sit and do the serious side of it tonight.
That's him making sure the show goes okay. I think he's spot on it. You'd like to think that as much as the players are gaining experience, this is Ange Postecoglou's first venture into the Champions League. So,
what we were saying there.
Gap between the fullbacks and the winger, aye. And the gap between the defensive midfielder and the centre backs was too much at times as well. Matt O'Reilly and our 2 centre backs. So I think it's just that general awareness.
I agree with you, Ryan, but I do know.
It's just that general awareness in the team that there's 2 sides to the game. There's attacking and there's defending, and that you need to have one eye on, at this level anyway, in the Champions League, when you've got the ball and you're putting other teams under pressure, you still need to have one eye on what could happen if you lose the ball. I think that's the biggest thing out of this campaign, that if I was the manager, this is what I'd be looking at. Your style of play works, because if you converted your chances, who knows where that would have took us in the group, but we'd have certainly been up there fighting for a position. But when you're attacking the opposition in Champions League, you need to be aware that if your attack breaks down, who's there to cover?
Yes.
Somebody like Juranovic, if he gets that point himself, maybe it makes him a bit more aware when he's going so high up the pitch. Okay, what happens if we lose the ball here?
Yeah.
But here's a question for you, JP, and if whoever's watching, I'll put this to you as well. Ryan, get your comment in.
Don't encourage him.
I know. Who's been your player in the 6 games that we've played? Who's the one player you think has looked the best at that level?
The full team.
Yep. The 6 games, one player. Who's showed up best?
That's really hard because
I put you on the spot there. I was joking to put you on the spot.
I've got 2, in my opinion, because obviously I can't really say Callum because obviously he's been injured for a good bit.
That's right. Yeah.
So I've got 2. I can't really. It'd be hard to say one and not the other.
Right, go on then. I'll give you 2. Go on.
Right, okay.
I'm feeling generous.
First one's definitely Matt O'Reilly. Considering, and this is based on the fact that a year and a half ago, just maybe over, he was playing with MK Dons in League One in England. Not a bad level, but certainly no the 90-day jump to the Champions League he's now had to take in his stride, and in my opinion, he's done it very, very well. This is just, again, my opinion. The listeners are probably going to say, you're off your heat, mate, or stay off the glue, or whatever people are going to say to me here, but Ryan's going to love me for this, I know. But one of my other top performers has been Greg Taylor. He's been absolutely outstanding. What a turnaround in that guy's play. Everything about the guy's fitness level. He plays like a fucking playmaker. Some of the passes he slides through. Like, there was a ball, was it the Shakhtar game? No, the Leipzig game at Celtic Park. See the pass he put through to Maeda?
Aye.
That was unbelievable. Like,
yeah.
He was playing like a number 10 half the time. His crossing was good. His interplay was good. He was really aggressive in terms of his press. He's good on the ball. He's very, very calm on the ball. The other night he was kind of forced back away, but he tried things like knocking the ball off him for shies, and he didn't give up the ball very cheaply, in my opinion. If he did, it was maybe one or two times. I don't remember many through the whole campaign. But they're the two guys, I think, for me, that were really steady, you know, and for me, just for the massive turnaround in him. He played in all the 6 games as well, Greg Taylor, as did Matt O'Reilly. And so, in my opinion, they were the two that off the top of my head stands out. Now, I don't know what the listeners are going to say. I know people are going to say, like, we Hatate and, you know, like, I don't know, Giacomakis when he played, and there'll be other people who'll also have their favourites. But in my opinion, they're the guys that, when I watch Celtic and been at the games, and, you know, really, they're the guys, in my opinion, that showed up really well. What about yourself, Buzz?
Well, I mean, I think Greg Taylor's been consistent in all the games. He's not looked out of place. And you're right, his fitness level's tremendous. I heard the other day there that actually early in his career he played as a centre midfielder. I don't know if this was that. I was surprised, but then it made a bit of sense how he's been able to adapt to that inverted fullback.
Yes.
And some of his passing for that area of the pitch has been tremendous.
Yeah.
You know, some of his passing has been like a number 10 at times, playing killer passes through. So, just as a wee footnote there, but Matt O'Reilly for me, mate. Matt O'Reilly, I think he's been absolutely first class. First class.
Playing out of position as well.
I was going to say that there. He's played in 2 positions in these games as well, and he's just looked class. He's passing, his stamina, his energy levels, his fitness levels. Even against Madrid, there was a few sort of last-ditch blocks, challenges he made where he'd had to run quite a distance to get there.
Yeah.
And, you know, going forward, he always looked like he could make something happen as well. So I would definitely go with Matt O'Reilly. Special mention for Jota as well, though. You know, his goal. And I know he obviously had these injuries as well, but I think you can see at that level that Jota will cause people problems.
Yeah.
And he looked as if he had the same level of confidence at that in the Champions League as he does domestically playing. So I think he looked good, but I would give it to Matt O'Reilly, mate.
Yeah, I would agree with that overall. Over the piece, but the transformation in Greg Taylor has been unbelievable. Ryan loves it. Ryan loves it. I know deep down he loves it. I know.
Me and Ryan wrote him off. Okay, not entirely, but there was a time where, you know, me and Ryan were sort of in that camp where we just weren't sure that he could go up another level. We thought he was a good player at the time, but
there's a reason he's went up a level as well. Alexander Bernabe. That's the reason he's went up a level. Because he's made a less than that hands. He's done it. Ralston done it at the beginning when Juranovic came up and says, see if he's getting a game, you're meant to play him at left back because he's not taking my position. And that's what Greg Taylor's doing. See if he's want to get a game. then he's going to need to work hard because he ain't getting my position. And I like that, Buzz. I like that sort of drive. And mate,
it's only 24,
he's only
Jackie.
23.
23. There you go, 23. He's just a young
He's
guy.
only 23. A lot of people forget that because it feels like because of the Kilmarnock thing and he's been about for a long time. But he's only 23. But obviously now, just well, we're on. I thought we'd have a wee goosey at it or not. Obviously, the day was a AGM for 2022. Yeah. I know you seen I know you said to me off camera and stuff that you'd seen the aftermath of it, and the videos, etc. I'm impressed, big time. That's just for me. I'm impressed, big time, especially when you know Michael Nicholson, Chris, what's this guy? That's terrible. Chris Mackay, that's it. Couldn't get that name. How did I forget? The guy that brought hands, Dominic Mackay, must be, I don't know if he's related to him or not. Don't think so, right enough. But, and then obviously Ian Bankier, who probably, for a lot of reasons, a lot of Celtic fans, the mood in the room probably was a lot of wee bit of doom and gloom when his name get mentioned today. But obviously we know he's stepping down at the end of the season. There's still a big, I think there's still, I've not seen anything. We're trying to get some information today about who's going to be taking over. I think a lot of Celtic fans are kind of waiting with bated breath in terms of if it's going to be Peter Lawwell or no. Or, there's another, I think there's a woman involved as well. She's in the running for it possibly, a lassie named Sharon. Can't mind her second name escapes me now. If any of the listeners are listening in, feel free to send in a wee comment about it. But in terms of the overall outcome here, it looks like we're in a very good place as a club. It looks like we're in good hands, considering where we were, you know, going into the 2021-22 season. You know, we were going for Eddie Howe and, you know, things, then we were a laughing stock. In my opinion, we were a laughing stock because we asked that up and up. We totally balls that up. Eddie didn't want to come for whatever reason. He didn't get his coaches he wanted, but then we bring a guy in from the other side of the world who just comes himself. Doesn't need coaches, doesn't need anything at all, doesn't, you know, nobody knows him. Apart from obviously we went away and done research on him before when we were linked to him. But then obviously all the pundits laugh at him, mob across the water. I've got lots to say about him. People were, you know, throwing out things about him getting sacked before Christmas, and I think Big Andy's still gutted the now that he never actually won that award. He still mentions it now. He says that's the only one.
Won everything else.
He won everything else. That's what, and then he's won Manager of the Month again.
Yeah.
So he's won more trophies than that mob across the water if he told dinners.
That's a fact.
That's no word to lie. And like I says, you know, you're looking at then he comes in, look what he came into, look what he inherited, look what he's had to build. Well, he threw a team together on 2 transfer windows, 17, 18 players, whatever it may have been. That's, when have you ever saw that? And then you lost 3 games at your first 6 league games. Pressure's on you. Massive amounts of pressure because the fans are now back in. It wasn't COVID anymore, so that was kind of dying away and fans were getting back into the games. You weren't winning properly, but there was a true identity straight away, Baz. You could see that for the Midtjylland game. The way he wanted to play. We started buying into the way he wanted to play. Straight away, as fans. We could see it. Even against them at Tynecastle, the first game when we lost 2-1. Then we goes to Livy, we loses 1-0. Then they beat us earlier at a big house. 1-0 Hollander. But in every one of the games, again, with chances, we just, you know, we're a bit of a makeshift way you're throwing a team together and trying to get players in, guys coming from Japan, and, you know, Kyogo coming off a bus, he's only made the squad for 10 minutes, then he's getting put on as a sub. People go like that, oh, he's never going to make it, he's too lightweight. Then he goes and scores a barrage of goals. Same with Giacomacchi, he misses a penalty against Livingston, and all of a sudden he's a do, and he's this, and he's that, and he's never going to make the grade. He went on to be the top scorer in the league and missed half the season. So then you're bringing in guys, you know, you're bringing in guys rapidly, throwing them straight into the team to try and settle them. Things aren't like that now. You listen to that AGM today, you've got things are all running smoothly now. New people are all starting to come in. Things are all starting to take shape in terms of, you know, even after the field. And just getting, but one thing I took for that today, Baz, I don't know about you, mate. Ange is in control.
Yes.
He's the main man.
Yeah.
He's got the overall say what goes on in there. And that's all coming from Michael Nicholson. And you could even hear that in him when he was talking today as well. You know, it's all about Ange. What's your plans? Well, we need to help Ange. What's your plans? Well, we'll be getting Ange ready to go again in the Champions League, to try and get back to the Champions League next season. And then you hear Ange talking, and it's all about making us a Champions League team, regulars, at even group stage level, to try and progress us forward. What was your thoughts on it, mate?
Well, I mean, the footage was, there wasn't a great deal to go on, but I would just echo what you said, that it all felt pretty good. It all felt as though things are, I mean, Ian Bankier, and I think he had 2 minutes, his initial kind of talk, and he used the word stability 3 times. And that stuck out in my mind. 3 times he used the word stability.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you would say we've got at our club now, stability. The right people are in the right roles, including the manager.
Yes.
And the finances are stable. The relationship between the fans and the board is stable. The players, the squad, everything just feels good, you know, and that's what came across listening to the guys in their comments. And I think it was Chris Mackay had mentioned that he was asked about the impact that Champions League money can have on a club.
Uh-huh.
What does that do for a club, really? He was asked in layman's terms, and he said, well, look, it allows us to look at a different profile of player. And that was dead encouraging for me to hear, JP, because you know yourself, there's been times where things have been going well, we've had the money in the bank, and we've not acted on it, and we've allowed things to just go slightly back away. Mm-hmm. So that was dead encouraging for me as a fan, because what I want to hear is that Ange Postecoglou is going to be rewarded for the success he's having on the pitch, taking him back into the Champions League, and that the fans are going to be rewarded for being loyal, for sticking by the club, in the good times as well as the bad, and that the money's going to be reinvested in the squad. So that was dead encouraging for me, because it came through the horse's mouth. This is the guy that he's the chief financial officer, so he's the guy that sort of says what we've got and what we've not got, and he's saying that we can look at a better profile of players. So that's what all the fans want to hear. So I'm going to hold them to that. Spend your money, get the top players in for the champion.
No, that's it as well. But the fact that, I don't know if you've seen his presser last week before the Livingston game, and the boys, I can't even remember what the boy says to him. He says, I don't lie to our players, I don't lie to our fans, and I don't lie to you either. Everything I say, we've pretty much carried everything out that I'm saying. I think what was really good as well was recently we've seen him. He was being quizzed on Kobayashi, boy for Wisla Kobe. We've recently been linked with.
I've been binge watching him on YouTube.
Have you? Aye. It looks as if he's got a good left peg, by the way.
Listen, JP, I've got to keep up to date with these things in case I get the call. Barry, you come on the podcast tonight.
Aye, going to come on the podcast tonight because Ryan's doing something else.
Aye.
Ryan's decided he wants to watch us on the telly for a change instead of being part of it.
He's taking notes. He's got a jotter full taking notes on me and you.
He's got his wee Mourinho book out, hasn't he?
Pencil in his ear.
See me funniest man, we're going on a FaceTime call with him, aren't we? He's got a tactic board and all that ready for us, man, ready to go for it. But no, as I said, but in terms with Ange, everything he said he's carried through. And that's the thing as well. And I think it is pretty evident, mate, that he's the main man. He's in control. Whereas previously before, now, whether it is Peter Lawwell or I don't know, something wasn't aligned in terms of Brendan Rodgers, because it didn't come across like that. When you look at the Marion Shved signing, that isn't happening to Ange Buzz. He's not getting players put on him and right, we're bringing in this guy. Ange is like that, no, I want him and him. Go and make it happen. That's the way it's working now. Maybe no worded as Strudley like that, but it's words to that effect. And things are running more efficient now. The speedy of our signings are a lot better, quicker. And last year, mate, we're all sitting ready to get ready for the new year and the bells and hug me in the morning. We've announced 3 Japanese signings. When have Celtic ever... When it was unbelievable. It just made...
what a buzz.
The whole time... It just lifted everybody. Remember that when it happened? It lifted all your fans.
Yep.
All your social media, YouTube, the lot. Everybody was buzzing with seeing that. And when he was asked about Kobayashi, he never went, no, don't talk rubbish, no. He just went, oh, well, we're moving early in January, Monday, aren't we? But he kind of went along with it as if, I'm not going to disagree with you either. But what really interested me was, I seen an interview and I seen it through a link on Twitter. And it was a big striker, Ryan Mamie for Fenwick Varos, the Moroccan boy. Who's obviously just back for a longer term injury because he's in the hope to go to the World Cup with Morocco. And he was asked about, obviously, interest in him. And then the guy pinpointed a certain team and he says to him, well, we've been told you're going to Celtic in January. And he just turned around with a big smile like that to the guy and went, never know, do you? And it was like, hey, there's something a wee bit more in that there. There's something a bit more, and Ange's already been asked about him as well. And his reply to that was, he's somebody that I admire. He's a good player. A very good player. He reminds me of Edward, Barry. He's very calm and composed in certain scenarios. He's very fast as well. Edward never had lightning pace. He's quite a tall lad, and obviously his brother's a very good player. I know his brother plays in the same team as him. He's a centre back with a ponytail. Yeah. Obviously we've got a wee comment here for the YouTube page. James Robertson.
Cheers, James. Sorry, Ryan. God, I'm going to be skinned by the end of the night, tying all these people.
I know. Moral of the story is, Ryan, he's got a bigger wallet than us too.
I wish. Yeah, I mean, James is saying what most fans are thinking now.
Well, that's it, and we've touched on it as well. No. And obviously, out by the AGM as well, it's always good to come out positively for things, I think, than a wee bit negatively for years maybe gone by. And I think what's helped with that, Baz, is what we've touched on there in terms of our recruitment, in terms of how efficient we've been with it. As you said, we've got bodies in the right jobs now.
Yeah.
Players are signed now based on the way the manager wants to play, the model, the identity of the team. We've no project signings anymore. If there is, then they go straight into the big team.
Thank God.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. You're not getting a guy that's coming in like Patrick Klimala. And no disrespect to Patrick Klimala. Patrick Klimala was a decent player. He just wasn't good enough to play for Celtic overall. He might have been under a different manager. I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't being coached right. Who knows? We'll never know now. But
when you've got away playing, though,
he was inexperienced. He was young. He only played like lower league in Poland. He was playing with under 21s at the Poland team as well. But I think to get a game with him, you need to be at a half decent sort of level. He looked good in certain moments, but so did Rob Douglas. He looked good in certain moments, I know, but he wasn't the best, because he's one of the best window cleaners I've ever saw in my life, because that's what he used to do when he was in the team.
He had the height for cleaning windows, didn't he?
Well, that's what I'm saying. He didn't even need a ladder. That was a good thing I know with him. You know, Big Rab was...
Just don't ask him to hold on to anything, because he's likely to drop it.
What annoyed Big Baldy and me Albie was he had George Formby behind the goal playing when I'm cleaning windows all the time, so it was always down there nothing. They weren't happy about that, mate. Do you know what I mean? But no, as I say, we're in a good place, you know, and obviously on and off the pitch, things are looking well. I'm not stupid enough to, you know, a couple of bad results for Ange, he's under pressure. Don't get me wrong. In Europe, that's not the same, because you're up against the cream of the crop, so you're not really anything we take in there as a result. It's like St Mirren beating us. You know, it wasn't expected, but it's a great result when it happens, and the fans probably celebrate for about a week.
I think it was more than a week.
No, but that's the thing as well. When we beat big teams, we're all buzzing and all, and you know, like, I don't mean big teams, because there's no many big in Celtic, right? I don't mean that. What I mean is bigger on a bigger scale in terms of finances and.
Well, teams were not expected to beat.
Aye, so we're not expected to go to the Bernabeu and win.
No.
If we'd have went there the other night and drew or won, that would be like us getting to the final with the Champions League. That's the way that would have felt. The whole emotion of that would have just been so hyped.
Yeah.
That we'd have been everyone would have been walking 10 feet tall, like the way Angie's team talk when it came out about, you know, getting into the cup final last season, and he says to him, you're standing on the shoulders of a greatness here, and you're going to add to that today when he's... And everything was all, when he's walked back in, when Callum walks in with that trophy, think about how you're going to feel. It was never all, we might win, we might know. It was all like, well, it was a positive spin on it. And that for me, they wee snippets we've seen as well, I think epitomises the way the team are and the way the team play, especially under him, because I don't know about you, but that would make me want to run through a brick wall for him.
Definitely would. And look, you look at that mob across the water, and not to spend too much airtime on what's happening there with him, but you look at the contrast between who's in our dugout leading our team and who's in their dugout leading their team, and it's night and day, because the passion, the confidence.
One looks like a giant, one looks like a mini me.
Well, that as well. No, but just, I mean, you know, Hans Postecoglou has come out with a lot of credit in this Champions League campaign because of his approach to it, you know, and he stated quite simply, Celtic's a Champions League club. It should be here every year, should be competing every year. That's not what's coming out for the other side.
Oh, so I think hundreds of millions to compete with Ajax.
Aye.
You picked.
So as a fan, you're looking at that.
No, I mean, what was it Goldson says when he get beat with Hibs?
See, Goldson had come out and said that, that there wasn't enough fight.
No,
to that effect?
He said we've lost
hunger
or something.
The hunger. And Tavernier said it in his interview. Tavernier said it in his interview as well. The last interview, I'm not sure if he used the word hunger. I know enough fight, I think he said. So anyway, that's enough about them. But the point I'm making is that if you're one of their fans, you must be looking at what's going on at Celtic. It's a project, it's evolving, it's growing. It's with a manager who is in complete control of his team and the media, and that our club just keeps moving forward. So I think even they're looking at it and going, God almighty, I wish they'd have never got this guy. I wish he'd have never showed up here. He's a nightmare.
Not that as well. You're looking at Eddie Howe and the job he's doing in Newcastle.
Aye, he's
That's what I'm
smashing
saying
it.
as well. So I just wish as well, like, you know, well, I don't wish, sorry. I can't wish for that now because of who we've ended up with as manager. I was going to say there, I wish for, you know, things were different. Eddie Howe took that leap. I can understand, probably, when you look back now, you were angry at the time because everything's all set in stone. You know, we were being told for weeks, he's a manager, he's going to be a new manager, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, here we go, playing the Sky stuff. We end up with conflicts or our chins. And he's not a manager. And we're all like, oh, here we go. But at the time, things weren't being aligned properly with the board.
No.
So at the time, we were left in the dark for a long time. At that time as well, Barry.
And there's no communication at all.
There was nothing. No, there was no to and fro.
And then you get a guy who's to the other side of the world. You go for Eddie Howe, who everybody knows, everybody's excited about. We all wanted him. And that was from weeks and weeks and weeks that was in the making. Then it doesn't happen. And the next minute you've got an Australian guy who, all due respect to him, none of us had actually heard of.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it was like a nuclear bomb being dropped. But
you think we're all thinking right away, oh, here we go, man, this is another. And deep down, there must have been some of your fans think to themselves, here we go, this is another Pedro Caixinha moment here.
You couldn't help it but think that way,
this
mate.
is another Pedro
because
Caixinha moment here.
But look at how it's turned out, mate.
But then when you go and do your due diligence and you go and see
his career and his profile, aye.
But see when I seen a photograph of him, I then remembered him for that World Cup.
Aye, his face. Aye, I remember.
When I saw his face, I went, oh, him, man, he was Australia manager.
Yeah.
And I remembered Australia beating Chile. And that was Bielsa's Chile team. That was under him. But he get rid of the old guard, I know. So he get rid of guys like Big Viduka and guys like Tony Vidmar and I actually think he might have got rid of Harry Kewell as well.
Right. He's paid him back all these years later.
I think he got rid of Harry because Harry, at the time, Harry had a lot of injury issues and it wasn't set in stone whether Harry could then prolong to that level. I also think maybe Ange didn't think he would have been up to it in terms of fitness-wise overall to play the way he wants to play.
Yeah.
But then also you go and then look at the clubs that he managed, and then every one of them fitted the criteria that actually we were in the thicky.
Aye, that's right. That's
rebuilding a team.
Rebuild. Yeah.
Getting into rebuild a side, and so then you go and learn. And like you say, we're all passing things to one another. Oh, look at this, look at that, look. And then you're getting bits off of Y Scout, this, that, and next thing. Before you know it, you've got your CV more or less in front of you, and you're going.
That's right.
Right. All right. Okay. It totally dwarfs Eddie Howe's CV.
Well, do you know what stood out to me, JP? When I looked at it, everywhere he had went, he had won. So he'd won trophies, he had won leagues. He even won Australia's only tournament.
He won the Asia Cup, didn't he?
He won the Asia Cup. It's the only trophy they've ever won in their history, and he led them to it. So that stuck out to me because I thought, well, if you're coming to a club like us, you have to have that winning mindset. You have to have that it's win or nothing mentality.
Yes.
And then, I mean, it's all right saying this now, isn't it? But I was convinced about him when I watched him being unveiled as manager. And I was convinced about him because he clearly had an understanding of the type of fan base he was about to get involved with.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what it meant to the fans. He spoke about that for day one. And he just, the way he carried himself and the fact that, what was the question somebody asked him? Did he know about
his first interview?
His first interview.
And the guy says something to him, you've more or less worked at a lesser level.
That's right, that's the one.
Oh, you just shot him down straight away.
And I thought, right, okay, I like that. and that's carried on.
That managed the World Cups, mate. Everybody's mate as well, isn't it?
Everybody's mate, I know. But nah, the guy's a class act, and long may this continue, mate. Looking forward to the game tomorrow as well. Dundee United at home. look to
Aye.
strengthen them. But see, that's a great point James makes as well.
Yeah.
Frustrated feels that we've got ourselves into such a good position, money in the bank, and we've failed to capitalise on it. What I think might be different, James, is that I think that the manager that we've got now, because of how successful he's been with recruitment, I think if he goes and asks for 6 million, 7 million, 8 million for a player, I think the board are going to sanction that, because he's proven time and time again with signings that he can spot a player. So you look at the assets that are at Celtic now, there's probably
I think he's getting a lot of
60 million upwards.
with saying that he's part of the progression of the team is to sell players on and bring better players in. I think he touched on that today as well.
He said that. He almost said that word for word, JP, and he also spoke about being efficient on and off the pitch. So it just goes back to what we both said about the AGM, is everything, all the plates seem to be spinning the right way now.
There's another wee comment as well for Vino O'Brien. Celtic manager's job was too big for Eddie Howe. We are all glad that Ange came along to Celtic Park. Hail, hail.
Yeah,
I totally agree with you, Vino. I totally agree with you, but there's not one Celtic fan right now that can't sit and tell me they weren't buzzing out of tree that Eddie Howe was going to be possibly our manager, because I know there must have been a good 90 to 95% was rubbing my hands together. Because again, he was a young progressive type manager, similar to Brendan, who played an offensive style football that we play, and then it was a fear of the unknown when you hear he's not coming. I potentially don't think the job was too. I actually think he's took on a big job just now, Vino. Personally, Newcastle are a massive club. They've got a massive following. Kevin Keegan helped to put them on the road of that sort of, getting them into Europe. Faustino Asprilla scoring a hat-trick against Barcelona. They were a very, very good side at one point. They have probably been mismanaged through the years. Now that they've got these kind of mega rich owners, I would imagine you'll see Newcastle transforming. But he's not doing it like the way everybody expected him to do it as well. So everybody expected him to go and buy Neymar and fucking Mbappe and this and that and bring, like the way Chelsea did it at the beginning when they brought in Dilly Ding, Dilly Dong, and they started buying people like Makalele and Mutu and remember all the players that they brought in them all too quickly, and it took a wee while to get it going. That's how their success didn't come, till they get rid of him and brought in Mourinho. But just like Vino says, I don't potentially think the job was too big for him. I potentially think he's a man who has had a background team working with him now for a number of years, and he's so comfortable that he was just unfortunate he wasn't able to bring them to Celtic for whatever reason. I don't know. But because they didn't come to Celtic, he decided, I think what Eddie maybe looked at was the fact that he had to rebuild us as well. And the fact that what comes into place there, as well, is a massive following that we bring. So if a couple of results, similar to the way it happened with Ange, didn't go his way, then he's under humongous pressure. I potentially, looking at it now, don't think Eddie Howe would have got the bit of leeway that Ange got because he's came from down south. Now that's just my opinion, but because Ange was a foreign manager coming from the other side of the world, he was given a wee bit of time and a wee bit of leeway there. But right away with Ange, you could see a true identity. Now, we'll not know that in terms of Eddie Howe because he never got that opportunity and he never took that opportunity, sorry. But I don't think the job would necessarily have been too big for Eddie. There's no balls about it, man. Eddie Howe's an elite coach. An elite coach, he knows what he's doing. And that's why Eddie Howe was suited after in the first place. Let's not get away from that as well. And just touching back to what James was saying, in terms of the club being in a good place as well. don't forget as well, mate, they backed Ange blind. They backed a guy blind that everybody knew about. So I think that needs to be rewarded in terms of massive plaudits to him, you know, because everything he's asked for, he's got. But it's obviously been that way maybe for his interview, Barry, in terms of, I'm only going to take this job if it happens my way. I'm coming for Japan. I've got a young family. He's having to uproot all that to come here. But he didn't do that straight away either, Barry. He came himself. Because his biggest thing was getting everybody to believe in him before he brought his entourage. That's how we've not seen the changes that we've saw to now this season. The changes are probably still going to happen as we go now. But that becomes, as you said, Barry, they're going to give him that 6 million, 7 million, whatever they're going, because they trust him. He's no gave us a reason now not to trust him. Don't get me wrong. There's no a manager in the world, I don't think, that have made a signing and every one of them have worked. Just about every one of them have worked for him. Mm-hmm. That's another thing as well that's really unseen. In terms of who do you know brings in 18 new players and just about every one of them make an impact straight away and hit the ground running, playing his way, learning a new style. I mean, I heard Juranović's interview at the beginning of the season. I've now got muscles in my body that I never knew was possible to get there in the first place because of the style of training he's brought. That's absolutely frightening, mate. I don't know about you, just the last wee bit on that. I just think overall, mate, but again, this is just my personal opinion. I think Ange is an elite coach. I think he's up there. I can understand now why Australia pin him like the Aussie Guardiola. I get it now. I can understand that now because he's loved there, Barry, which is probably one of the main reasons as well as to why we're going to this Sydney Cup. Because again, that would have been at his request, in my opinion.
Well, he's most definitely Australia's most successful manager. I mean, he's out on his own because I think he's the only Australian manager ever to manage in the Champions League. And what he's done at Celtic is incredible. On Vito's point earlier, I mean, I think Eddie Howe would have been successful at Celtic if he came here. But would you swap him for Ange Postecoglou? No, and Celtic are a bigger club than Newcastle. Spot on, Vino. Yeah, and let's just enjoy this as it's happening. Let's just be present, enjoy what's happening. It's JP. It's not just winning football matches and winning leagues and competing in the Champions League. It's the style of football that we're playing.
Yes,
it's absolutely wonderful to watch. I enjoy watching my team every week, mate. I look forward to seeing us. I look forward to watching the Jotas, the Haksabanovic, the Hatates, the Matt O'Reillys, the Greg Taylors. You know, so I'm enjoying watching my team and see as a fan. You know, it's along with winning because we're a unique club. We need to win every week.
Yes,
but I'm just enjoying watching this team, mate. And and so is my two boys. I watch every game with my two boys, and they're the same. They just love the style of football that we're playing.
But that's because of Ange Postecoglou, Barry. He's brought that buzz back to all us as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's what, you know, that's the get back you're getting for Ange as well. Look, he's brought that. He's brought players to play a role, play a system that's able to entertain in that style. Guys like Jota, Abada with a killer instinct, getting goals, scoring goals, Kyogo scoring goals, Giacomakis scoring goals, boys like Matt O'Reilly with the flair he's brought, Hatate. He was only two and a half years ago, he was playing university football in Japan. Now he's playing the Champions League for Celtic. It's a frightening, that's what I'm saying. Like Matt O'Reilly's came for League One in England. Yeah. It's night and day stuff. These boys are probably having to punch themselves in all because of And it's not just that as well, it's what they've walked into. Because what comes with Celtic is a massive following, mate, all over the world. And they can't, some of these guys probably can't go out in Glasgow.
No.
When they go nights out. But yeah, I'm saying that. And there was photos of Mers de Rame all going to, was it the Coldplay gig or something? It was Jota, Matt O'Reilly, Juranovic, Abada and somebody else marching through the streets with people. But just blending in with civvies on and people not even bothering them. And I was like that when I seen one in the photo. I think I sent it on to one in the chat. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They're walking through the scheme Tory Glen with so many with fans that are going to the gig. So like that's bold itself, I know, because you put yourself in the public eye like that, then you know you've got the other side that could cause a backlash against you as well. But they'll not be able to do that very often, in my opinion. I know they were going to a gig that night. But it's been a remarkable turnaround, and obviously we've got another wee comment just to finish that side of it off as well. It has been a fantastic journey.
Yeah.
He's brought the back together.
That's a fitting way to finish the podcast, mate. You know, your man there's something, whoever it was, man or woman.
Yeah,
I've summed that up perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think anything else needs to be said, to be honest. I think that just sums us up where we are at the moment in time.
Yeah.
But last bit of the pod tonight, we welcome them back to Paradise tomorrow. Again, 3 o'clock kick-off. Normally they don't come very often for us, mate. On Saturday, against a team that we walloped 9-0, 19-0. My personal opinion, mate, I don't know about you, but I'd be shite myself right now if I was a Dundee United player. We're just off the back of a 5-1 defeat as well. It could be a serious backlash against them tomorrow. Ange could make 3 or 4 changes again to freshen up that team. We go at him, you know, I'd imagine Jota will probably start the game. Possibly Haksabanovic. And you know, we again getting off the coach tomorrow as a Dundee United player, mate. I don't think I'd be looking forward to that, especially what happened at Tannadice. I don't know about you.
Well, I'm not making a prediction, big man, because the last time I made a prediction on a podcast,
you ended up on another podcast.
Aye, I don't want to say, so I'm going to eat humble pie tonight and not make a prediction. But you'd have to think that it's going to be a strong performance in front of a full house tomorrow, and I think the players will be hungry to back to winning ways if they're losing, you know, during the week and under that kind of scrutiny in that match as well. And I think they'll play with a freedom tomorrow, and hopefully there'll be goals. Yeah.
Aye, it's always a bonus, mate, when we go to Paradise and we see goals. I don't think they need much motivation going out at Celtic Park nowadays, mate, to know what's going to be expected of them. Like I say, they'll probably be chopping it a bit now. I would imagine now when you European football, you'll probably see them try and put a foot to the flare now and get things done as best and more efficient as they can. They'll probably try and get, I know there's daylight between us, but they'll probably try and get a wee bit more daylight between in terms of the league table to give us a bit of cushion. Obviously we break up soon. We've got the World Cup, so that's coming at a rotten time as well. And then you've got that, but is it a 4-week break? And then you're going into, obviously within that break, we're going to play in the Sydney Cup as well, so we'll be fresh. We'll be fresher. But you're looking at the break we're going to be having. You're talking well into December, probably just before Jingle Bells. And then the players come back, but then they're probably going to have to do a mini pre-season. Because they've not played for that long. And it's all right doing training individually, which is fine. But you need to train as a collective to get your football and timing back and everything. The way the manager plays, everything. So, in my opinion, mate, it's a bit of rotten timing. But it's obviously where the World Cup is, which is in Qatar. Obviously, we'll not be doing too much shouting about it because Scotland never made it. Sorry to bat into everybody that's listening, but no, we did. Unfortunately, we missed it. I'm kind of glad we missed it as well because it's the other side of the world, I know. So it's obviously you kind of want to be in as many tournaments as you can. And we were all buzzing after getting to the Euros, and you know, the whole country was totally lifted with that. But in terms of tomorrow, mate, I'm the same as you. I want to see a bit of entertainment, a bit of goals. Obviously, we've got James back on again. He's saying tomorrow, he's predicting we will be entertained tomorrow, 4-0. Well, you're a brave man, James, because as Barry mentioned there, last time any of us made a prediction, we actually ended up on another podcast by totally default because we never asked to go on in the first place. It was St Mirren fans that thought they would share a wee clip it for one of our pre-match build-up. So, no, I think we've learned our lesson for that one, James. I think we'll leave predictions aside for the night, mate. But just to sum up the pod, mate, it's been really good having you on again. Always happy to see your big smiling face, mate.
Likewise.
Makes a wee change for your eye.
He's a smiler today.
He's a smiler, of course he is. He's always a... I think it's just this podcast, mate. I think everybody that comes on just ends up with this face constantly. We should get sponsored with a Joker. Because we're always smiling. But anybody that's listening in that's commented, I thank you very much.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for taking your time and watching a couple of guys talk about Celtic and give our thoughts. Anybody that likes your content, please feel free to like and subscribe to our YouTube page. I know I need to put my teeth in to say this. Yes, please like and subscribe to our YouTube page. It helps the page, obviously helps us bring some content, which is totally free for any listeners that want to tune in and listen to us chat. Thanks again, James. Thanks for listening in, mate. Also, myself, Ryan, Barry, we're all over social media. Instagram, YouTube. No, not YouTube. YouTube. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook. Just type in the name of the page, Celtic Unrestricted View. You'll find us on all those platforms. And again, folks, we thank you deeply because obviously if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be able to bring the show to you in the first place. So we thank you again. And a massive hail, and we'll see you in the next episode.
And a hail from me.
Cheers, Barry.
Cheers guys.